in a I'm in a push. Can you call Terrell and see if he's still coming on live? Like I go live on air in 2 minutes.
Okay, let me call him. Let me call him.
All right. Never mind. Good morning. I was about to send the cavalry out for you. Okay, so hold
I
on.
was trying to get it fixed.
Okay, well, I gotta set up the live, so hold tight. And Reverend Jackson may call you.
Yeah, he's calling me.
Okay, come on. Happy Founders Day. How you doing?
I'm fine. How you doing? Thank you. I appreciate
I'm here. Got this hair together, so I'm here.
it. Yeah, I'm here chasing. I got almost a house full of everybody. Ain't my oldest sitting here.
Oh goodness. If they want to pop in and say hey. So I am we're recording and trying to get the live set up now. Computer. Today. Like any other day.
I'm putting everybody on silent real quick. That way they don't ring it through.
Really? That's what we doing. Like my computer literally just I hate this live feature. And I'm trying to watch the clock too. Oh, Jesus. Shit. Okay, sorry. Good morning, everyone. We're live on Facebook. I want to say happy Founders Day to the gentlemen of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. We'll be live on air in just a moment. Of course, with anything, technology, can slow you down. Good morning to you, Mr. Terrell. How are you today?
I'm fine. How are you doing?
I'm wonderful. So while are getting ready to go on air, please tell everyone a little bit more about you.
Well, I was initiated into the fraternity in 2008 at Arkansas State University, the Alpha Zeta chapter. Um, just from Little Rock, Arkansas. I, graduated with a sports management from Arkansas State, and just happened to be in the graduate chapter here in Jonesboro, Arkansas, the Epsilon Alpha Alpha chapter. And we're looking to get involved in this community a lot more, and we appreciate the fact that you had us on today.
All right, well, thank you. So we're live on air, and I apologize to everyone listening for the delay. There were some technical difficulties. Happy Tuesday. Anyway, we are here. I'm your host, Aquila Jones. Welcome to Community Conversations. And let's give a big warm shout out to the gentlemen of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. It is their Founders Day. And so I understand, first, before we get too deep, I want to first send out condolences and love to the Alpha Zeta chapter who lost a member on last week, Mr. Ivory Jenkins, better known as Lee Lee. Everyone, if you went to school A-State in the 90s, you knew Lee Lee. He was the life of campus. So I just wanted to send a shout out and condolences to all of you all as you're mourning the loss of one of your brothers. To everyone out there, near and far. So I want to get into some information about Omega Psi Phi. So let's start out with when and where.
We were founded at Howard University in 1911 by 300 graduates and one advisor, so 4 founders. We were founded in the Science Hall, Thurkield, on this date. And, we've been progressing forward ever since. We're the first international fraternity founded on a historically Black college. And so we've tried to take that as, wear it as a shield of pride.
Okay. All right then. So let's talk about I don't know if you call them pillars or the principles that the fraternity was founded upon.
Yes, manhood, perseverance, scholarship, and uplift. And, those are our 4 pillars that we really strive to show in our communities every day, obviously through manhood, teaching not just younger brothers, but also, children about being, a man in your fraternity, a man in your family, a man in your household, a man in the community all together. Or, scholarship is something we strive for. We're, technically an undergraduate based fraternity. So we choose to find some of the best and brightest from a scholarship perspective, perseverance. Obviously, we know the struggles that you have growing up in America as a Black male, and those things of perseverance and being able to link on to each other and push through the hard times, and also prove that with a little bit of hard work things can get accomplished. And of course the uplift is not just uplifting each other, but uplifting your community, being someone who can give a positive outcome for any situation that they choose to step into.
Alrighty. And I have been aware, well, of course, back when I started school some years ago, I became
Not that long ago.
with the organization. And to this day, I'm still very close with some of the members that I went to school with then. And they are wonderful men in the community. They live up to those pillars that you just stated. They try to live up to what it means to be an Omega man every single day in everything that they do. And so before we get into the local chapters, I want to talk a little bit more about the national level and talk about some of the programs, and then also whatever programs on the national level that you all participate in on the local level. Let's talk about those as well. So let's get into some of the national programs.
Well, a lot of our national programs, we have things going on, obviously like Big Brothers and Big Sisters, and we have our talent hunt situations that we do throughout the districts all over the world, because we have districts all over the world. We have so many different things that we've been able to get our hands into over our years of being involved in each and every, avenue based upon things that have to do with those cardinal principles that we talked about earlier. Obviously, with big brothers and big sisters, mentorship is something that's big in our fraternity. So
Okay.
obviously, we encourage that to go on in every aspect, because we know the importance of having good role models, and also the unfortunate fact that there are the lack thereof for so many children and that go on. And when it comes to other things like our talent hunt and our other scholarship situations, we have, with our talent hunt, we have situations where students from all over can compete. Say for instance, our district is the ninth district, so we'll have our chapters in the ninth district hold their talent hunt generally during our achievement week, which goes on around this time around Founders Day.
Okay.
And the children can compete in those talent hunts with things, music, the arts, and along in nature. And, as they win on the district level, they receive compensation, but they also make it to the next level, our national level. And eventually a winner is chosen overall for the fraternity in the talent hunt situation. So they get that type of exposure. Not only that, but they also get certain stipends especially for those seniors who get scholarships, that we are able to, hand them in person, as well as pay for their travel to, make it to these cities. A lot of that obviously has been quelled by the pandemic going on, but we have been able to do it virtually. And obviously, luckily for us, something like the arts is something that translates virtually, and also money translates. So we've still been able to give those scholarships.
That's awesome. All right. I want to say good morning to everyone that is watching and listening. Miss Kelly Lewis Taylor and my sister Gwen Henderson, who says, "Good morning, Kelly K. Happy Founders Day to the men of Omega Psi Phi." Good morning to you, sis. Thank you for checking in. And everyone else, if you would like to drop your messages or questions, comments, please drop them on our Facebook Live feed. I want to go into social action, which is one of your national programs. And I recognized this year, because it was an election year, that you all played a big role in one, helping to get individuals registered to vote. I saw different pictures where you all were out at Parker Park, I think. Was it
We
Parker Park?
we were at the it's First National Bank now. It's going to say the Convocation Center, but
Okay.
the First National Bank Arena, which was one of the big polling positions. And yes, we knew the importance of all election years, but especially this one, based upon the things we felt like the Black community, the Black and Brown community, had at stake, and we wanted to make sure that we were visible to the community, to let them know that we are here, we're here for your support. And we came out there, and we didn't vote or sway or anything like that, but we basically just wanted to show the support. And we had brothers who came out. One of my chapter brothers, specifically Brother Edward Rucker, came out, and he helped usher people towards the right polling positions and places that they could go and cast their votes. And we stayed out there for a while, and it was a definite, really, really good experience. And I think we found a lot of people who didn't know that Jonesboro's chapter was, had members active right now. So a lot
Wow.
of people were able to get a glimpse of us, and hopefully in the future, we've been able to do things. We also help do voter registration and push for the census, registration, because I don't think at times people understand how important getting that information correct for the census can be to your community.
That's right. So thank you for your service, for always stepping up and just being there. And yes, everyone, the men of Omega Psi Phi are still here. They're not able to be as active. I mean, no chapter of any sorority fraternity is able to be as active as they would like to be simply due to the pandemic and having to kind of distance and be very mindful of what's happening right now. So, but don't worry, as things kind of transition back, they'll get back to work. I promise you that. But they are doing something. If you need them, I'm just gonna say call them. I'm gonna just put it out there.
Now we have definitely, our social media page is still up. We try to stay in contact with the community around, obviously Epsilon Alpha Alpha. You search us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, we will come up. So, be on the lookout, follow us, give us an ad. We definitely try to keep the community involved and notified.
All right. Want to say hello to some more people that are watching. Miss Estelle Robinson says, Happy Founders Day to the men of Omega Psi Phi.
Thank
Bethany
y'all again.
Hill says, Good morning. Happy Founders Day. And thank you, Shay. I tried to do some. And Sean only says, Congratulations on your fraternity anniversary. I married a first man of distinction, though I look forward to what you are / plan to do in the community. We must have all hands on deck, especially to help the young men to be their best. Yes, ma'am, Ms. Sean. Yes.
Yes,
Um,
that is extremely important.
so I hope that going forward, all fraternities, all men, all leaders step up and say, okay, what can we do to still keep a hold on the young men in our community to show them we're here, or y'all are here, and that we care, and that you know, we're willing to do what it takes to help lead them to the next stage of their life, so they don't get in trouble and they stay on a positive track, no matter what that track looks like, as long as it doesn't lead to trouble. I'm just going to say that. So, yeah.
Correct.
Um,
It takes intervention, and we want to provide that. We want to have the ability to step in and give them a positive, picture to strive for in the future. We have so many men, just not just in the fraternity, but in this area that are involved in fraternity who have, different backgrounds, but we have strived and become successful in different ventures. And we feel like we could definitely offer that to a lot of the men around here and a lot
okay.
of.
All right. I want to talk about Achievement Week real quick. I understand, though, I know we're in the middle of this pandemic, but have y'all been able to do anything or like even plan some virtual events or anything?
We've had some virtual achievement weeks go on. Again, with our achievement week, we generally have something like a banquets or presentation. So it's something we have been able to carry on virtually to where, as we are now, to where, you give them a Zoom link and you can still award a brother his award for his community action or his ability of stepping up this year, or give our Omega Men of the Year awards for our chapters or our national chapters. And as I was saying before, award the families and the young men and the young ladies their awards for our national essay contest that we may do. We do essay contests, which is also a part of that scholarship we're trying to push to where we award them. And that's something in the days of in today's world of Cash App and being able to get them funds in a different way, we're still able to award them their funds and scholarships. And of course the brothers don't have a problem waiting on their plaques to be mailed to their house or delivered at a later.
Okay, awesome. I'm looking at the website, and anyone who wants to learn a little more about Omega Psi Phi, go to oppf.org, and there's a little 3-line. Look, it's a menu tab. It's a
It's a
menu.
drop down
Um,
tab.
click on that, and then there's a bunch of different information that you can learn. You can learn about the founders, where, when, and I want to go back to that just a little bit and talk about the time period that the fraternity was founded in. And I access of all these sororities fraternities because mainly, most of them were founded before 1920. And we know that that was a hard time in America for blacks, period. Like just everywhere,
Correct.
all over the world, really, but in America especially. And can you talk about, based on the information, I mean, what you can talk about, what was the mood like? What was the push like? You know, what was it like trying to get this fraternity off the ground during that time?
Right. They, as I said, 3 undergraduates and an advisor. The undergraduates, obviously, they were looking for something more in a group of men that shared ideals and, like-minded people. And they wanted to set out and found a group, an organization for men like them who wanted that more, who wanted to be the uncommon, who didn't want to just be, in a group because it was cool or because it was the thing to do. And obviously, they had an advisor who gave them a meeting place in the science wing, Third Kill Hall. And, it was there that they strived, put their ideas together and came up with Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, and the motto of friendship being essential to the soul. And it is one of those things that we try to harp on as it comes to being brotherly, because as we all know from just history, that back then Black people needed to stick together. And definitely Black people could benefit from being on one accord and having a group of people who were like-minded and willing to live up to those cardinal principles, which we hold: manhood, scholarship, perseverance, and uplift.
Okay. I want to say good morning to a few more people. Um, Mrs. Clarice Scales, thank you so much. And then everyone else, thank you all for checking in. If you have any more comments or questions, please leave them in the Facebook Live feed. Yeah, everybody's tripping on my new hairdo. Yes, have to do something to these curls. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I was looking at the home page of the Mega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated um, website, and I saw that there is a 1911 project. Is this something that you all participate in on a local level? And
Um,
I'll read what it says. It says 50% of the funds will be used to support the ongoing efforts of the Smithsonian Project. 50% of the funds have been recommended to be used to support a community service project that educates African Americans on how to conduct themselves when stopped by law enforcement and university application/entrance test fees. The Omega 1911 project donation to Omega Psi Phi fraternity is not tax deductible. All right, so there's more information on that. But we're going to get ready to go to a quick break, but we'll still be live on Facebook. So we will continue some of the conversation, but we won't leave you out of it all because I want to get more into Delta Zeta and Epsilon Alpha Alpha and see what you guys are doing on the local level and how you all collaborate. Because I know the Alpha Zeta are the undergraduates, but they still need your leadership and your guidance.
all
So,
right.
for those of you listening on air, we're going to take a quick break, but we will be back. If you want to jump on Facebook, you can join us. We back up these messages. Okay, so we're still live on Facebook. So, any plans for y'all today, though? I know again,
Yeah.
y'all, and it
Yeah,
is
I mean,
morning.
pretty, obviously because of the pandemic, everything, as far as, big group meetings is, not, not able to go down, but I'm sure we'll find a way to socially distance, and, you know, brothers will find a way to get in front of each other. And,
Yeah,
and
mask up, y'all.
but yeah, you know what, I will honestly say that's something that the brothers have been taking seriously. And, unfortunately, we have to, because it's obviously in our midst and in our communities. But, I'm sure that we'll find something later on. Unfortunately, it's not something we generally we generally share with all of the community. Now it's just going to have to be, you know, a smaller gathering, but hopefully, you know, things we won't have to do it this way next year.
Okay. Now I know that not to go back to a sad moment, but funeral services are happening today in Texas for Lily, and then there will be some visitation services in Marion and Fort
Mm-hmm.
City. So will
Mm-hmm.
you all? Was Lily a part of Epsilon Alpha Alpha?
No, he was Alpha Zeta, but he actually was working at Prairie View A&M in Texas. And
Okay.
so he was a member of the graduate chapter down there.
Okay. So, but will some of you all go and represent in wherever? I know Marion is one of the places, and I want to say
Mhm.
Fort West Memphis or Fort City. One of those is
Right.
another.
But we will be there. We obviously will be doing his Omega service. And so, you know, I don't doubt that all of Northeast Arkansas, and really Arkansas is going to be there. He was a
Okay.
well-known member of not just the fraternity for this Jonesboro area, but all of the 9th District, Oklahoma, you know, Arkansas, Louisiana, and Texas. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that we're going to have people from all over the fraternity within, you know, range of making it safely there.
Okay. Did you have a chance to meet him and hang out with him?
Oh, all the time. He was actually our advisor when I was
Okay.
initiated. So I've been, you know,
Oh,
spent
okay.
at his house. I know him, talk to him personally. He definitely was a friend of mine. So yes, I very much knew him personally.
That's awesome. Okay. Well, I hope that you guys can find a way to get together. At least, have a toast, have, meal, something,
Right,
just
right.
in his honor. So we're
Correct.
getting ready to go back on air. We have a couple seconds, less than 5 seconds. So hold tight. All right, welcome back to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. I'm your host, Kabila Jones, and my special guest today is Mr. Terrell. I never did get your last name, Bowie or Bowie?
Bowie.
Oh, I'm way off. Bowie. Oh my goodness. Okay. From Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. Today is their Founders Day. So if you see someone you know, give them some purple and gold love. Maybe buy them a drink, buy them a meal, iced tea, Coke, let's keep it PG. Anyway, moving right along. Moving because we live in a dry county. So anyway, moving right along. We're gonna talk now about Alpha Zeta and who? Epsilon Alpha Alpha. Did I get that right? Oh my gosh.
Hmm?
All
Yeah.
right, so let's talk about the local chapters, the undergrad and the grad chapter. So what are you guys doing?
Well, unfortunately, due to, you know, pandemic issues, we're limited. But, you know, as far as things go with Alpha Zeta, we're not their advisory graduate chapter, but we do have contact with them, and definitely I talk to the young men that are involved around campus. Obviously, you know, right now, for as far as nationally, we have kind of a, you know, I don't want to say a moratorium because that's the wrong word, but we don't, you know, we're not putting on public, you know, events right now. So right now they're being students, which is great. And, you know, as far as we here at Epsilon Alpha Alpha, we generally try to, people who know us in the community know we normally do things like, you know, a turkey handout around this time of year, but obviously we determined that wouldn't be safe for as far as community involvement right now. So we're extremely sad that we had to cancel that, but we are working on getting something done to make sure that come this Christmas, we have some involvement going on with the community, then that we can get things safely done. We are also currently working through any type of community outreach, as well as that's one of the reasons I push the social media, because I want the community to feel like they can reach out to us and say, hey, we would like your support on this. We would like you to come out if you can and possibly show your support for this. Obviously, you know, we were involved earlier this year with coming out, and when they did the prayer at the square, and you know, as far as going with social justice and things along that nature. And so we obviously, again, you know, voter registration in a sense is we have tried to get involved in everything going on. We've had, you know, we have members in the fraternity who are a part of the NAACP here in Jonesboro. So obviously, if they have something going on, we try to show up, and as well as, you know, KLEK, if you guys have something going on, we generally try to show our faces or give some support in that way. But again, you know, those out there, tell people in the Jonesboro area, reach out to us. We are always here. We are a community service organization. So, you know, we're not above that.
Okay. All righty. And so, are you a member of the NAACP?
Yes.
Okay.
I am.
Gotta
I
make
am.
sure everyone.
I am. We're, all of our one of our mandates is that the chapters be members of the NAACP,
All
because
right.
you know that's been one of our keys from the beginning.
I was gonna send somebody after you. I want to make sure you all get involved. I want to say good morning to Miss Linda Johnson Frazier, who says good morning, Kelly K, and happy Founders Day. Thank you, Miss Linda. All right. So I know that going back to the turkey drive, turkey giveaway that y'all usually do, um, have you all maybe partnered with other organizations like local, like the food bank or other organizations that are giving away baskets or things, and maybe help them with their um, efforts?
We haven't this year, but it's definitely something that I feel like we are going to consider in the future, being that we will have, I guess right now, more of a opportunity to plan, because I do feel like, unfortunately, the up and down spikes of the pandemic really did throw us a wrench in our plans, as to say, because you know there was a point where we thought maybe we could do it, and then unfortunately, Craighead becomes a hot spot, and then now it's really not, you know, it's not as important to give those turkeys out as it is to make sure that we keep ourselves safe, not only ourselves, but also the community safe, because we don't want to, you know, obviously bring them to a point where they're gathering. So we obviously have bigger plans for it in the future, definitely. And again, that's where we're going to count a little bit on, you know, stations like this one to, you know, keep us abreast and give us the word that about things going on.
All right. Speaking on the education piece that you all incorporate in your mission, your day to day activities, looking at where we are now with the pandemic, um, I was watching a clip about Africa and how they have been able to keep their numbers low because, one, they were prepared because of other things that they've dealt with, but it's that education piece where people in the communities take it upon themselves to go not necessarily door to door, but small community by small community and village, and actually hold these not large gatherings, but educate the people on how to protect themselves. So again, going forward, is this something you all may consider, how to add that public health education piece in there?
I think that would be a wonderful idea. It's definitely something I can bring up to our body. And, you know, I think that we have definitely, you know, we have the resources to do so. Earlier this year, one thing, and I'm sorry I left out, that we did help with the drive-through COVID testing that was done earlier this year. So we have tried to get involved on that medical front per se and make sure with the education. But, you know, that definitely sounds like a very good idea to, you know, become more active on the with the medical front with just information, because you're right. I think that a lot of the things going on with COVID can be, solved with some better education about people simply making better decisions.
Yeah. And look, you should let me everybody would tell you about me. You need a project, you need somebody to connect with, I'm your girl. I am the connector, the networking, whatever. Look, there are other organizations that are doing similar things. And why not make it a huge collaborative effort? We can get so much more done together than separate. And there's enough of us here that love this community and want to see us thrive. So look, I know some people. I can connect you up with some people.
I'm sure, like I said, we'll keep in contact on that, and we'll definitely have to make sure that we can get more people involved. And, again, it doesn't seem like this thing is going away anytime soon. So education is a big thing right now.
Most definitely. All right. And so I'm gonna just throw this out there. I know I'm gonna move on, but your Q's always bragging about grilling. Always. So even though y'all can't give away turkeys, frozen turkeys, like can y'all just set up a drive-through? Like, look, I just
So you're
drive through
trying
and
to
get
get
a plate.
a drive through grilled turkey station or something going on. Look, you
Some
know what?
chicken.
You might should have brought that idea up earlier. They may have actually gone for that one. They may have actually gone for that one. I will honestly say, historically, the brothers have not hesitated to light a fire and put some meat on it. So it's definitely one of those things we've become popular for.
Look, it may be getting a little chilly outside, but hey, look, a grill will keep you warm while you're out there cooking. Bundle up, and we'll just drive through and get our plate and keep them.
I can promise you they miss doing it as much as you miss having it.
Okay. So, all right. So let's move on to so Christmas time. You all try to participate with other organizations as well to do toy drives or coat drives or something. So have you had a chance to even talk about that far ahead?
We are currently working on some plans and putting together a Christmas event per se, not anything big, but definitely something that's going to benefit the community. We are in preparations to fixing it right now. We're currently moving all of our efforts into that now, since obviously, unfortunately, we couldn't do the turkey drive. So we're going to look and focus on that, and you should, like I said, keep in mind on the social media and things of that nature. You should look to see the results of those planning here in the next week or two about what should be going on around Christmas time and what we plan on doing. So we definitely have something in the works for Christmas.
All right. So if you would like to stay on top of what this chapter is doing, go to Epsilon Alpha Alpha on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Like, follow, share, subscribe, all that jazz. And keep in touch turn on the notification bell so that you can keep up with what they're doing when they're posting anything so that you all can get involved. I know this year we could not do the big back to school drive. Like the first year that was put on, it was amazing. But shout out to BPN. We couldn't do it again this year. Hopefully next year, because we can do it because it was so amazing to see all these organizations come out. The first year that I went, it was like every organization was represented, every church possible, everybody from everywhere came out to support. We had haircuts going on one place, backpacks given out another place, food over here, games over there. Like it was just amazing. So we got to get back to that aspect of our community service, if nothing else.
Right, right,
I would
right,
love to see that again.
right. And again, it definitely it the pandemic definitely quelled a lot of things we were planning. I know I moved up here from Little Rock, but I know one of the big things I wanted to do here was in Little Rock. We generally do a thing to where we meet the children on the way into their first day of class. And,
Okay.
high five and encourage them. And, that was something we didn't get to do this year. And I truthfully missed it. But again, that's why we're hoping and praying come this time, earlier than this time next year, we're back to where we can at least be visible, even if it's still doing a socially distanced climate, to where we can show the children that we are here to support the community.
That's awesome. All right then. Well, we look forward to that. Look forward to seeing the men of the purple and gold out about in the community. And so I have another comment. Sean only says, "Great idea, cute look." Seeing somebody else on my team with the drive-through barbecue thing. Okay, y'all need to make that happen soon. Anyway, all right. So again, everything has been just shut down, and you all are doing the best that you can. But I just want to say thank you for the service you have performed so far. As you mentioned before, you all help with the drive-through COVID testing. You all help with voter registration. I saw you all holding signs like, register here. You all were present at the polls. And so going forward, what's coming up next? I know December's right around the corner. um, I know we don't have, anything pressing January, February, but kind of going back to education. Will
Mhm.
you all try to take this time either to educate your members or in your virtual groups with your mentees, educate them on public policy, government, no, local and national government, things of that nature?
We do, and that's something I do want to compliment our fraternity on. As far the public generally doesn't see it because it happens on Zoom meetings like
Okay.
this, to where we have we've established a a group that filled with doctors on the national level, because as again, we're international. So, we have some of the best doctors that graduate from some of the best universities in the world in our fraternity. And so they've done a great job of getting together, and we get, not just, we get monthly, announcements of, you know, the current efforts that we are doing as far as medical wise. We get monthly announcements on the newest innovations that we may have going on with the fraternity from a job or economic standpoint. We have trainings going on. I had a training just the other day over Zoom. We have trainings currently going on, to where we've kind of taken advantage of this push of doing everything online to become, as crazy as it sounds, become more socially active in a way, in an informative way.
Okay.
And, definitely, that's a great point you brought up. We have taken advantage. I can honestly say that we've taken advantage of this time of people being available because of so much not going on, to
Okay.
from the national level. And our national level has done a great job of putting it to a trickle down effect, to where we are, able to hold uh, everybody accountable from the standpoint of, as you can see popping up on this screen, and making sure that you're here, and we're going to give you the information we need you to have to keep this fraternity safe, and also so that you can be a great functioning member of the fraternity.
Okay. Awesome. I wanted to talk about some, I don't know what we call them, organizations, nonprofit organizations that you all have partnered with, that you do some work for. I know March of Dimes is one, March of Dimes, and today is their World Prematurity Day, recognizing babies who are born too soon. And so I know you have done some work with them in the past. Unfortunately, there's no longer an office or division here in Northeast Arkansas. Is that an organization you all still partner with and do some work for?
I'm not completely sure as far as this area, but I know that we definitely have partnerships like that on the national level. And, unfortunately, like you said, a lot of our partnerships can be, I won't say regional or just basically based upon whether or not there's a actual physical, building or group of people to work with, because, it's obviously with us not having one local, we're not going to be as involved as the Little Rock chapter may be able to, with there being a organization there, or in as some of the bigger cities that go on. But definitely, like you were talking about with the other projects, we definitely have funds and supports that go into all of those nonprofit organizations, because as being a nonprofit organization ourselves, we know the importance of having support from that fiscal aspect.
Okay. Awesome. We're going to get ready for a break about another 2 minutes, but I do want to go back into the 1911 project, because I just briefly ran through that before we went to break the last time, but I want to get into that. And as we go into our conversation, maybe just on Facebook, we know that we're living in a time that there's a lot of tension. Just to say, try to keep it politically correct. There's a lot of tension. And I'm not one that likes to stir the pot, but at the same time, I feel that we need to have those hard, uncomfortable conversations sometimes. And across all racial lines, across all ethnicities, we need to have these conversations. And ignoring them doesn't make the issues go away. They need to be
Right.
addressed. And so we know that we're living in a time that people are having some, again, I'm trying to be delicate with this, mistrust of their police departments. We're grateful here in Jonesboro. Well, from my perspective, we don't have those major issues that we see on the news. We don't, so far. Again, from my perspective, someone can correct me if I'm wrong. But at the same time, we don't need to take that for granted, that we, just because we don't see what's happening in New York, or DC, Philly, and wherever, we don't need to take that for granted that it would never happen here. And so
Correct.
again, we need to have those conversations.
Correct.
So when we get ready for a break, we're getting ready to hit our break. But as we continue on Facebook, I want to talk a little bit more about, what are some things that you all can do to help inform, educate, just empower these young men, with information, and what are some things you could possibly cover. So for those of you listening on air, we're going to get ready to take another quick break. But we will continue our conversation on Facebook Live. So if you would like to join us there, please do. We'll be talking a little bit more about the 1911 project. Again, you can find this information at oppf.org. And we'll be right back after these announcements. Okay, so in this project, the description, it talks about educating African Americans on how to conduct themselves when stopped by law enforcement. So let's talk about why that's important, or why are we still having this conversation? It's
Right.
like,
Right. Well, it's sad to say that unfortunately we've reached the point to where young Black males and young Black people and Black people in general do have a fear of law enforcement based upon what's been done in the past and currently that they see in everyday television. But the 1911 project has really helped, because unfortunately we have officers in the fraternity who have to also feel that negative backlash, even though they're not a part of that quote unquote problem with law enforcement. I know that we here at Epsilon Alpha Alpha have members who are in law enforcement, and they will definitely tell you they're not, they definitely don't want the public to fear them. They definitely join to actually uphold that idea of protect and serve. But the 1911 project, unfortunately, we're in a world today where you need to just be real about things. We could want things to be a certain way, but that 1911 project knows that, truth be told, especially younger Black males or younger Black females, you may do something irrational when you're afraid. And unfortunately, you do need to be trained in a situation to, as they say, de-escalate, unfortunately. And we have officers, former members of law enforcement and things on that nature who are involved in these project efforts to tell, young men and young women, hands up off of the steering wheel, don't make sudden moves, answer the questions. And unfortunately, you hate to say that you have to be that way in today's world because, you know, let's just be honest, most of the time you're pulled over, you're not necessarily being pulled over for something that you should be treated in a threatening manner for. But we have reached that point right now in America, especially, to where you have to unfortunately be better safe than sorry. And so that 1911 project really has helped with educating on, unfortunately, really just called a de-escalation tactics, and funding and making sure that those people are educated correctly on what to do and how to handle that situation. But it doesn't just go to that. It also has other features to it. The 1911 project, with it helping kids pay for general fees.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Pause right there. Okay, y'all, welcome back to Community Conversations on Kelly K 102.5 FM. I'm sorry we were so into our conversation. We were talking about the 1911 project. For those of you who were on our Facebook Live, you heard some of that. But Mr. Terell, you could continue what you were saying about that piece, the additional aspects of the 1911 project, please.
Right. It doesn't just go to, funding the de-escalation tactics and things on the nature taught to young Black people when dealing with law enforcement. It also has an aspect to it of that scholarship, like you said, to where, they work with the universities, and part of the 1911 project donations go to helping them pay for those fees that they may have that come up for, tests or how, any of those, out of pocket fees that students may face when trying to further their education. The 1911 project has also, become a big part of getting that done, which is why I'm excited that they put a donation button on the page, because we need, it can't just be us, it has to be everyone. And any little bit you give helps, and so it is definitely a project that we were excited to announce as a fraternity, and that everyone in the fraternity is pushing that we try to get as many people involved with as possible.
That's awesome. All right, so this last segment, I just want to give you some time to talk about why you joined the fraternity. This last segment is shorter, so why did you join Omega Psi Phi?
It's crazy to say, but growing up, a lot of the mentors that were in my life were members of Omega Psi Phi, but that wasn't how I got to know them. They were just good men who gave me their time and efforts and poured and invested in my future. And honestly, I didn't learn that most of them were actually in the fraternity until I was much older. And so that really influenced how I viewed the fraternity, to say that here's this person who invested in, a child that they didn't have to, not because they were doing something as part of a mandated program, but because that was something in their natural nature. And someone, like that, things like that. And then obviously, as you get older and you start to learn more about them, they share more about, their life, and seeing the manhood, part of the Omega Psi Phi definitely, it left a big impression on me. And so when, all of the positive big role models in your life are members of an organization like Omega Psi Phi, it kind of becomes an easy choice that definitely they've shown you that this is an excellent organization. And it is, and it has been an excellent organization since the day I stepped in and they brought me into the fold. I've loved every minute of it, and I've loved being involved. It sounds crazy, but I look at it now, and I came in 2008, and it's 2020 now, and it doesn't feel like I've been in that long, but definitely, over these years, I've been blessed to have impact on other young men's lives the way that they had an impact on mine. They've impacted my life. The young men have impacted my life also by giving me, more of, an opportunity to say, I joined the right fraternity for the right reasons.
All right. So let's talk about something a little fun. Y'all are known to be loud, hype, all over the place. So I know you're gonna break out your gold boots and your camo or something. Get your hop on today or something.
You know what? I might just go get them. They're in the attic right now. I did get my jacket though. I do have my line jacket. I got my line jacket now. I tell people all the time, I did my hopping when I was definitely an undergraduate, but those boots aren't comfortable. So, I'm a little bit older now, so my gold boots have like Dr. Scholl's in them, because I'm just gonna walk around. My feet aren't bad, but I know better. Like I said, when you know better, you do better. But
oh my God.
It's all in good fun. I definitely love Founders Day because you get to see the wide range of the men in the fraternity, and as I always tell people, it's so awesome to be able to walk into a room because people don't understand how the fraternity is, that literally you could walk into a room and at a table there's a doctor sitting with a lawyer, sitting with someone who may be a teacher, sitting with someone who works in retail, sitting with someone who is a mechanic, sitting with someone who is unemployed, sitting with someone who's an entrepreneur, all at the table, and we're all there together on one level, and there's no issue. And people don't understand how good that feels to then look over and see the younger undergraduates having fun and being able to want to be around that situation, because the fraternity brings us all together. Because in what way do you ever see another situation to where 18 to 19-year-olds want to hang out with someone who may be 75?
Right.
And so those things that you spoke about definitely are parts of the fraternity that are unmatched.
All right. Well, I thank you, Mr. Terrell. Thank you, Omega Psi Phi,
Oh,
for your
thank you.
time
Thank you,
today.
Q. Yeah, I
Happy
do
Founders
appreciate it.
Day
Thank
to you
you.
all.
Thank you.
Th-
Happy
thank you to
Founders Day,
everyone.
bros.
Thank you for listening to KLEK 102.5 FM. Thank you for your love and support. Don't forget, KLEK has a new mobile app, so please download the app so you can stay on top of what's happening and all the wonderful music that we play. Again, if you see your brother in their purple and gold, they're going to wear their purple and gold today. So if you see someone, give them a shout out. And also, don't forget to send your love and condolences to the family, fraternity brothers of Brother Ivory Jenkins, as he will be. There's a service in Texas today, and then there's some services in Arkansas this weekend. So look out for that information. Thank you all, and have a great and blessed day.
Thank you.
All right, so we're off Facebook. So let me get us. We're off air. So let me get us off of Facebook here. So thank you, everyone who tuned in to Facebook. Thank you for joining our conversation. Stay tuned for more from Kaylee K. All right, so we're off air. Stop recording.